in the WNBA right now.
Gray trying to beat the buzzer, and of course she does. Nye Evans to bench players.
Uncertainty looms over the Indiana Fever as Caitlin Clark, the face of the franchise and one of the WNBA's brightest stars, continues to battle a lingering soft tissue injury. After a roller coaster first half of the season, Indiana had finally found momentum. They were healthy. They were winning. They were looking like a team destined to not only return to the playoffs after years of frustration but potentially make a run. But then, everything shifted again. Clark, who had just returned to form after an earlier injury spell, aggravated her right groin in the closing seconds of a hard-fought game against the Connecticut Sun. It was another blow for a franchise that has had to constantly adapt and readapt all year long. Just a day after her injury, Indiana faced the New York Liberty, the defending champions, and suffered a discouraging double-digit loss. But beyond the scoreboard, the real concern lies in the larger picture. How long will Clark be out, and can the Fever survive and thrive without her on the floor? The star rookie missed the WNBA All-Star Game held in Indianapolis, a much-anticipated event that had become as much about Clark as it was about the league's elite. With fans packing stadiums and millions tuning in across platforms largely due to her presence, her absence from the festivities cast a shadow over the weekend. It was a moment the city of Indianapolis had circled on the calendar since the schedule was released. A celebration of basketball in a city known for it, but without Clark, that celebration felt incomplete. Head coach Stephanie White addressed the situation with cautious optimism after a recent practice. These soft tissue injuries sometimes nag until you can actually have time to really allow them to heal in the off-season, she said. So, we'll just take it one day at a time, and we'll continue as a group to progress together. Neither White nor Clark has provided a timetable for her return, which only adds to the uncertainty. The Fever's entire season has been defined by adaptation. Clark's presence electrified the team, but so has her absence challenged them to grow. Before this latest setback, she was in the midst of a dominant three-game stretch, helping the Fever win all three contests. In those games, Clark accumulated 40 points, 29 assists, 6 steals, and just 10 turnovers in 79 total minutes. Her ability to control the offense, find open teammates, and create shots for herself had elevated Indiana's play to new heights. What Clark has brought to Indiana goes far beyond the stat sheet. Her arrival infused belief into a franchise that had been languishing in the basement of the WNBA standings for years. Her vision, confidence, and poise have transformed not only the offense but the entire energy surrounding the team. Yet now, as she sits on the bench, nursing a groin injury, the Fever must once again turn to their depth and resiliency. This isn't the first time Indiana has had to navigate adversity. Earlier this season, the team weathered a brutal stretch of games, including repeated matchups against title contenders like the Las Vegas Aces and the New York Liberty. They also dealt with injuries to key players like Nolissa Smith and Aliyah Boston. And yet, they held on, fighting their way back toward relevance. Clark's play during that stretch gave fans hope that the Fever were finally on the right track. But now, as her teammates prepare to take on the Liberty once again, this time likely without Clark, questions are beginning to surface. Can the Fever stay afloat in the competitive Eastern Conference? Can they maintain their playoff position in her absence? Will Clark return before the postseason begins? And more broadly, how should the WNBA adapt to the increasing physical demands placed on players? As of early August, Clark has missed 16 regular season games this year, a significant amount for a player the league has unofficially branded its new face. Her latest groin issue marks the 7th game she's missed due to that particular injury, and sources within the organization suggest that the team is being extremely cautious with her recovery. The league, the fans, and broadcasters all want her back, but nobody more than Indiana itself. Clark's presence on the court has an immediate and measurable impact, not just in points or assists, but in how defenses respond. Teams double-team her, trap her at the top of the key, and switch up defensive schemes just to slow her down. That kind of gravity opens up opportunities for everyone else. Without her, Indiana's offense loses its identity. It becomes more stagnant, reliant on isolation sets, and lacks the creative spark that Clark injects into every possession. Teammates have acknowledged the void. Aliyah Boston, herself a rising star in the league, has taken on a larger offensive role. Kelsey Mitchell has shouldered more scoring responsibilities. Lexi Hall and Erica Wheeler have provided minutes and hustle. but the dynamic flow that comes with Clark's court vision simply can't be replicated. Off the court, Clark's impact remains just as profound. Her name fills arenas, drives social media engagement, and boosts TV ratings. With her, Indiana's games feel like events. Without her, the energy noticeably dips. According to Nielsen and other rating services, Clark's games are responsible for record-breaking viewership numbers this season. This visibility has helped the WNBA secure improved media deals, expand its brand, and push conversations about league expansion and compensation. Yet, all this momentum raises a pressing concern. How can the WNBA protect its stars while growing at this breakneck pace? One of the hottest debates during All-Star Weekend centered around player health. With Clark out, and other stars like Breanna Stewart, Aja Wilson, and Sabrina Ionescu battling fatigue or minor injuries, the conversation quickly shifted to the league's increasingly demanding schedule. This year, for the first time, the WNBA expanded to a 44-game regular season, up from 40. With travel schedules, back-to-back matchups, and international obligations, players are feeling the strain. According to The Next, an independent outlet that tracks WNBA injury reports and performance data, the league has already seen more than 140 injuries this season. A staggering number considering the size of team rosters. These injuries aren't just small tweaks or day-to-day soreness. Many are severe enough to warrant weeks or even months on the sideline. The result? A league growing faster than its infrastructure may allow. Clark's injury, unfortunately, becomes symbolic of this larger issue. Her star power has brought attention, investment, and excitement to the WNBA in ways not seen since legends like Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird entered the league. But she's also a rookie being asked to carry the weight of a franchise and help push the league into a new era, all while managing the physical demands of playing more games, traveling more frequently, and dealing with media scrutiny at a level few athletes her age have experienced. Meanwhile, Fever fans and WNBA fans in general remain hopeful. They've seen what this Indiana team can do when healthy. They've seen Clark's brilliance. They've seen Boston dominate the paint, Mitchell hit dagger threes, and the defense lock in during crucial fourth quarters. But can they string together wins without their star? In the locker room, the team remains optimistic. Coach White has emphasized accountability and leadership by committee. Practices have focused on ball movement, defensive rotations, and building chemistry among secondary lineups. The coaching staff knows they can't replace Clark. No one can. But they believe they can sustain a winning culture until she's ready. For Clark, the path back won't be rushed. She has her entire career ahead of her, and while the competitive fire burns strong, anyone who's followed her college career knows how much she hates sitting out. The priority must be long-term health. The groin injury she's dealing with is particularly tricky. Unlike a clear fracture or tear, soft tissue issues can linger if not fully healed. Overcompensating for it can lead to knee or hip injuries. The Fever's medical team is monitoring every movement, every drill, every sign of discomfort. So for now, Clark watches from the sideline, offering encouragement, staying involved in team meetings, and helping younger players adjust. She's remained vocal during timeouts, active during practices when allowed, and invested in the team's success even as she works toward her own recovery. Fans, meanwhile, continue to show up. Jerseys bearing her name sell out across merchandise shops. Young girls still line up hoping for autographs. Her story, from Iowa sensation to WNBA rookie phenom, has captivated the sports world, and even in her absence, she remains the league's most talked about figure. The Fever's upcoming schedule doesn't get easier. They'll face several playoff-caliber teams over the next 2 weeks, and every game will matter. In a tight race for seeding, 1 or 2 bad losses could be the difference between hosting a playoff game and missing the postseason altogether. That's the reality of this 2025 WNBA season. There's no room for error, but if there's one thing this Indiana team has shown, it's fight. They've been counted out before. They've stumbled, regrouped, and clawed their way back. With or without Caitlin Clark on the court, they're not folding. They're building. For this season, and for the future. And if Clark returns before the playoffs, rested, healthy, and re-energized, the Fever may very well become one of the most dangerous underdog stories the WNBA has seen in years. Until then, the waiting game continues.
Stuff off the plane, but it's nice that now they're doing the talent show competitions. We do it with the Hawks as well, but it's always fun to watch. Taylor Theory.
The 2025 WNBA season has already delivered plenty of drama, excitement, and storylines that have captivated basketball fans everywhere. Yet one of the most significant narratives, and arguably the most delicate, continues to revolve around injuries, especially those involving some of the league's most prominent stars, including Caitlin Clark, as the rookie sensation from Indiana Fever continues her recovery from a nagging groin injury. She's not just sidelined physically, she's become a central voice in an evolving league-wide conversation around player health, scheduling, and the future of the game. Clark, who missed the All-Star game in her team's home city of Indianapolis, addressed the topic with thoughtful candor. "I feel there's been quite a few injuries over the course of the beginning of this season for quite a few people," she said on Saturday. "A lot of people have been in the same boat as myself." Her words echo a broader concern. The sheer number of injuries affecting players this season is not just unfortunate. It may be indicative of systemic stress points that the WNBA must address. Clark isn't alone in her situation. Several other All-Stars were either sidelined or playing on minutes restrictions due to various physical setbacks. According to injury tracking outlets like The Next, there have already been more than 1 injuries reported across the league this year, a number that's raising alarms. It's not just the volume, but who's getting hurt. These aren't role players, they're franchise leaders, MVP contenders, and major faces of the league. Many attribute the rise in injuries to the increase in games this season. The WNBA schedule expanded from 40 to 44 games per team, a move driven by both growing fan interest and broadcast demand. While expansion is often seen as a sign of progress, it's come with its challenges. More games mean more travel, more wear and tear, and fewer recovery days. The increased workload has clearly taken a toll. And for someone like Clark, who played a full NCAA season before jumping directly into the pros, not to mention a heavy promotional schedule, the physical toll is real and increasingly visible. Yet simply extending the season to give players more rest days isn't a straightforward fix. As Clark herself noted, a longer WNBA season would run deeper into the fall, creating scheduling conflicts with the NFL and college football too. Television juggernaut, simply extending the season creates yet another problem, she said. Competing against the NFL and college football telecasts deeper into September. That's a tough sell for networks and sponsors who are already competing for ratings and visibility. For the Indiana Fever, this injury cloud surrounding Clark is frustrating, but it hasn't extinguished hope. Even without their star rookie, the team remains in playoff contention. Veteran guard Kelsey Mitchell continues to be a consistent scoring threat, while forward Aliyah Boston is proving to be an elite two-way player, anchoring the team on both ends of the floor. Boston's leadership has grown tremendously in Clark's absence. She's shouldering more offensive responsibility and setting the tone defensively with her rim protection and rebounding. Indiana has already demonstrated that it can win without Clark. Earlier this season, when she missed multiple games due to previous injuries, the Fever managed to grind out crucial victories and stay competitive. That resilience is now being tested again, and though the upcoming schedule includes tough matchups against playoff-bound teams like the Las Vegas Aces and New York Liberty, there's a sense within the locker room that this team isn't backing down. They've been battle-tested, and that experience might just carry them across the finish line. Still, for Indiana and the rest of the WNBA, the larger issue lingers. How can a league that's growing so rapidly protect its most valuable assets, the players?